right, welcome back to class, guys. I'm hoping everybody can get in. All right. Okay, we're going to get started. I am Ms. Vukmanic, and I'm Ms. Vukmanic, and this is SOAR class. If you came last time, we made some paper airplanes, and you guys were supposed to test them out and try to make the best one that you could. We've been talking about airplanes, different parts of the airplane. We've got the fuselage, which is the body, the wings, the tail, the propeller, and the cockpit where the pilot sits. We've also been learning about Bessie Coleman, who is a famous pilot, and we've been reading Fly High, the story of Bessie Coleman. So we are going to see what happens at the end of this book. So far we know that she's a hard worker. She loves school. The schools closed in the fall so that everyone could pick cotton, and she did not like that. She wanted to be at school and to be learning, reading, and she loved math. She moved to Chicago, and then she decided she wanted to be a pilot and had to go all the way to France to get her pilot's license. So now here we are back home in the USA. All right, remember at the end of class, I will unmute you if you have questions. So save them till the end, okay? Because we've got too many people that I can't hear everybody. All right, back home in the USA. That September, Bessie Coleman sailed back to New York That September, Bessie Coleman sailed back to New York Harbor. Now she was news, front page news. African-American newspapers all over the country had stories about the first person of their race to learn to fly. Always waving, always smiling, Bessie Coleman was an aviatrix with spunk and style. Eager to improve her flying skills for future air shows, Bessie returned to Europe the next February. For 6 months, she took more lessons in France, Germany, and Holland. Tailspins, banking turns, figure eights, looping the loop. Then she came home to the U.S. to perform all those daring stunts. Her first air show was on Long Island on September 3rd, 1922, and Brave Bess was a hit. Bessie drew big crowds wherever she flew. Petite and pretty, even in a leather helmet and goggles, Bessie wore tall, shiny boots and, of course, her long coat from Paris. In Texas, in Tennessee, in New York, and Illinois, Bessie Coleman told her many fans, "All of us are created equal." If others of her race weren't allowed to buy tickets for the air shows, Bessie refused to fly. Bessie Coleman was a thinker and a talker. She visited dozens of Black schools and churches in many states. You can be somebody. You can fly high just like me. Now Bessie wanted to help other people. She wanted to open a flying school so that others could learn to fly. Not everything was easy for Bessie. Money was still a problem. It was hard to make money flying, and Bessie had to borrow planes to fly in. Finally, Bessie was able to buy her own plane. Her Jenny was a biplane. It wasn't new. It was old and shabby, but it was hers. Then Bessie was in a terrible crash in California. Shortly after takeoff from Santa Monica, the Jenny's motor stalled and nosedived to the ground. Bessie was in the hospital for 3 long months and didn't fly for a year. With the loss of her own Jenny, Bessie again had to borrow planes for her air shows. Most of the planes were old and not very safe. Bessie knew flying was a risk, but she thought it was an important risk to take on behalf of her race. A sad ending. On April 29, 1926, Bessie Coleman was in Jacksonville, Florida, hundreds of miles away from Waxahachie and hundreds more away from Chicago. She was 34 years old and close to her dream of opening a flying school. That day, Bessie visited every African-American school in the city. She told young people her story. She told them, "You can do something with your life too." Many of Bessie's fans had tickets for her air show on May 1st. Even her friend Robert Abbott happened to be in town. And when Bessie saw him in a restaurant, she thanked her friend for giving her the chance to fly. The day before Bessie was to fly high for the Jacksonville crowd, she and a Texas mechanic, William Wills, were to take a test run in the old, shabby plane that Bessie was to use. That morning, Bessie knelt by her plane and said a quiet prayer. Then she let Wills take the controls while she sat in the rear seat. Bessie was a safe pilot, but this time she didn't fasten her seatbelt. She wanted to get a better view of the land below. Suddenly, something was wrong. The plane went into a tailspin. Bessie fell from her plane, down, down, thousands of feet. William Wills died too, after the plane crashed on the ground. No one could believe the awful news. Brave Bess, who had come so many miles from the cotton fields of Texas, would never be able to fly again. Would never be able to tell others, you can be someone too. Goodbye to brave Bess. In Jacksonville, 5,000 people, many of whom had heard Bessie's inspiring words, came to the memorial service to say goodbye. Then Bessie's casket went to Chicago on a train. Up and down State Street, there were prayers and tears. A formal funeral was held at the Pilgrim Baptist Church in the big, big city whose streets Bessie called home. 10,000 people passed by her coffin to pay their respects. They would never forget that their Bessie Coleman had shown the world how anyone could fly high. Their Bessie was someone, all right. Daughter, aunt, walker, reader, dreamer, thinker, student, pilot, speaker, teacher. Bessie Coleman was all of these. Like her mother, Susan, Bessie knew how to plant seeds. Her work in schools and churches was as important as her daring spins and loops in the sky. Across the U.S., some of Bessie's young fans grew up to be pilots. Many others would remember her courage, her smile, and her words. You can do something too. Keep trying. Fly high. All right, so it's a horrible ending to her story, but even though she lived such a short life, she inspired so many people to follow their dreams. And it wasn't just to be a pilot, but she opened a lot of doors for many people. So that is why we're learning about Bessie Coleman. All right, the next thing we're going to do is we are going to learn 3 different ways that an airplane can fly. Okay, so first of all, I would like for everyone, let's scoot this back. I would like for everyone to put out your airplane wings. All right, now, does an airplane flap its wings like a bird? No, they're real stiff, right? Okay, so if you do karate, you know that when you chop through the air, people say, hi-ya, right? So our first airplane move is called ya, and it's when the airplane wings chop through the air. So to ya is to go back and forth. Ya, 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 ya. All right, freeze. Our next airplane move reminds me of singing, and it's called pitch. So when you have high pitch, you go, ah, and when you have low pitch, oh. So the pitch is going up and down. Try that out. Oh, oh. All right, so we've got yaw and pitch. Oh, oh. And the third one is nice and relaxing. It's called the roll. It's when the airplane goes back and forth when you roll. All right, so rest those wings for a second, and I'm going to say them, and I want you to see if you can do them. Are you ready? Airplane wings out. Okay. Yaw. Yaw, yaw, yaw. Roll. Pitch. Oh, roll. Yaw. Roll. All right, and go ahead and land your planes. Okay, I'm going to show you, if I can get this on the screen, a real quick 2-minute video, and it shows us how a pilot can actually control the yaw, the pitch, and the roll. Okay, so give me 1 second. All right, I'll see you back in 2 minutes. Is it working? No. Can you guys see it? Give me a thumbs up if you can see it.
Hey, my name is Mark, and today we're actually going to be talking a little bit about airplanes and how we control them. How many people here have been on an airplane? Over here, we actually have an airplane that's called the Cessna 150. Now, on an aircraft, there's 3 types of ways we can actually control it. We call it a roll, yaw. And those are the controls that are going to help the airplane go up and down, turn side to side, and also turn or roll. Is everybody excited to get into the Cessna today? Today we're going to be talking a little bit about how to control an aircraft. So what we have here is we have the yoke, and that's actually going to be kind of like the steering wheel on the aircraft. So what I want you to do is I want you to turn the aircraft left. Now if you look over there on the wing, you can actually see something we call the ailerons. Now when you turn the aircraft left, which way do you think the aircraft is going to go? Yeah, it's going to go left. Just like if you turn the steering wheel of a car left, it's actually going to go left. Now go ahead and try turning it right for me. All right, so which way do you think you're going to go if you turn the steering wheel right? Right. It's going to go right. Correct. So that's one control we have, which is going to be called rolling. Now we have another control. It's going to be called pitch. Now, how do you think you're going to control pitch? Correct. When you pull and you push, the steering wheel or the yoke is actually going to pitch or make the aircraft go up and down. And that's actually going to be controlled using the elevator. So the elevator helps the aircraft pitch or go up and down. Can everybody say that with me again? Pitch. Pitch. Now we have one more control. Now on the bottom of there's these foot pedals. When you push those, it's going to actually turn something on the till that's called the rudder. It's actually going to help it turn side to side or to yaw. Can everybody say that with me? Yaw. Yeah. So yaw, once again, is with your feet, you're going to press the pedals. Pitch is actually pushing the yoke, and rolling is turning the steering wheel or the yoke left and right. Good job.
Okay, so the steering wheel of a plane is called a yoke. Sounds like an egg yolk. So can everybody grab onto your yoke if you're driving the plane? All right, now if we want to change the roll, what do? We're going to turn our yoke. If we want to change the pitch, we're going to push it or pull it back, and that's going to change the pitch. Okay, and if you want to change the yaw, you're going to step on the pedals and it'll change your yaw. Okay, so next time you see an airplane fly over your house or when you're outside, see if you can notice if it's changing its yaw, its pitch, or its roll. Sometimes when it's turning, you can definitely see that roll of the airplane. Okay, so if anybody has a airplane that you made on Tuesday, can you, if you have it with you, can you just hold it up so we can see them? Okay, awesome. Okay, we're going to test this out and see if we can show yaw, pitch, and roll. So if I have my airplane here and I want to change the pitch, I can go up or down, up or down. If I want to change the yaw, it's going to turn side to side. I can kind of twist my wrist. Nice planes, guys. And if I want to change the roll, I can tilt it from side to side. Awesome. All right. Are you ready to learn to make a couple airplanes? All right, go ahead and get a piece of paper out. We're going to try to make 2 airplanes together today, okay? And I'm going to give you a resource that you can use on your own too. So go ahead and get your paper. And I am going to share this screen again. I'm going to show you this website that is we're going to use. All right, it's called Fold and Fly, and I will put it on my Clever page. But it's pretty cool because over here on the side, you can decide what you want. So we're gonna do our first one is for distance. We want it to fly far, okay? So I'm gonna unclick these. Oops. And we're going to do an easy one together. So I'm gonna unclick these and see what my results are. All right, we are going to try the basic dart plane. So I'm gonna click on that. And we're just gonna look at the directions today, the pictures, but there's also a video guide if you wanna do it on your own and have somebody show you how to do it, okay? So first thing we're going to do is fold your piece of paper in half. So have it up and down long ways and fold it in half. And then open it back up. And again, I'll put the link for this website on my Clever page so you can go back if this is too fast, okay? All right, now, this top piece right here, we want to fold down to the middle crease. So I'm going to fold like that. And a good tip on paper airplanes is you want to push your creases because it'll fly better. Okay, so you want them to be strong creases. And you're going to do the same thing with the other side. Sorry, kind of hard holding it up. So it kind of looks like a little house. Okay, once you have that, we're going to do the same thing again. And if you have questions, I'm sorry, I cannot see you right now because I can't see all the people. Okay, so I've got this crease. I'm going to fold it over to the middle. And I'm going to do the same with the other side. This top crease goes to the middle. It looks like a triangle with a little bit extra. Okay. Okay, now I'm just going to fold it in half. Okay, once it's in half, this top edge is I'm going to fold it down to the bottom edge to make my wing. And I'll do that on both sides. Okay, there's one. I'm going to flip it over and flip down my other wing. If you mess up, it's okay. Just try it again. Okay, so what you do is fold it in half, make your roof, and then fold the roof edges to the center again. Fold it in half, and then flip down your wings. okay? All right, once it looks something like this, give it a try. Try to fold it and see how it does. Or try to throw it and see how it does. Oh, mine flew across the classroom. Pretty good. All right. I know this is quick, but I'm going to show you one other one. So if you're done or not done with that one, can you set that to the side? And again, I'll post all of this so that you can do it if you are interested. I'm going to go back to the beginning. And this time, instead of having a distance one, I want to have an acrobatic plane, okay? So I want one that's going to do a trick. And I'm going to click on this tailspin, okay? So if you have a fresh piece of paper, we're going to start the exact same way. We're going to take our paper, we're going to fold it in half. You're going to make your roof, and that's by folding one edge to the center, and then your other edge to the center. Then this roof edge is going to come into the center again. On both sides, okay? And it takes practice. And I make lots of them that fail. Just keep trying. Okay, so I folded it in half first. I made one roof and then a skinnier roof, so I have a point. Okay, I know this is fast. We're running out of time. Okay, so we did that. Now we're gonna take our tip and fold it down. So it's flat on top. Just like our other plane, the basic dart plane, we're gonna just fold it in half. So you're gonna fold it over that little point you just folded down. Okay. And then just like our other one with your wings, if I turn it to the side, I'm gonna flip this down so that this diagonal edge comes down to the bottom. It doesn't have to be perfect, just as close to it as possible because you're making your wings here. Okay, so here's one, and then I'll flip it over and do the same thing with the other side. Okay, so this looks pretty much like our first plane, except the point is tucked under. But now to make this plane do tricks, we have to do one more thing with it. And what we're going to do, this picture is really hard to see, so if you can see mine, you're gonna take one tip and fold it forward, and the other tip and fold it backwards. It doesn't matter which is which, but this is going to make it do a cool trick. So I folded one forward and one back, and give it a try, and it should do a spiral trick. Okay, so go ahead and throw that and see if it works.